Welcome, SENS Talk.
Here comes Smith with a pass across. He scores! He bats it in! Tim Stutzer wins it for Ottawa.
Ridly Greig is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win.
See you later. Go SENS, go!
SENS win! The SENS win! 3-2 over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and yet again, the Ottawa Senators pick up a massive 2 points. They get that much closer to doing something that this organization has not done since 2017. Nearly a decade. I was still in high school. I've graduated university and college since then. I'm sure many of you have lived a lot of life since then as well. My goodness, it's not over. I'm not going to get all too excited until that X is there in the standings. But I'll tell you one thing right now. Ooh, baby, does this win feel so good for your Ottawa Senators against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Going into this game, if Columbus won, they're coming off a massive victory last night. If they would have won this game, they would have been only 4 points back of Ottawa in that second wild card spot. Not so good. Don't like that, especially with 2 more games against them in the final 11 games of the year, which that's just insane scheduling, to be honest with you. But anyways, the Columbus Blue Jackets kind of control their own destiny. We don't want to be a part of that. We want to control our own destiny. And tonight is a big reason why we will continue to do so. A massive victory, 3-2 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. An electric crowd tonight. Not sold out, nearly sold out though. I mean, the big snowstorm and freezing rain threat doesn't help that by any means. But the crowd was electric tonight. The Sens were electric, and the city is buzzing. We feel it, baby. We won playoffs, and we'll talk about that later. My goodness, that channel was backfired, but a massive win. Ba 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 da da da. Best theme song in sports. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's nothing like it. If we end up making the playoffs, and again, it's not a guarantee. It's only a 99% chance now with a win. We got to bring back the Danger Flutes, no doubt about it. So let's talk about the game and get through the game recap from beginning to end. You're probably wondering, Brandon, I can tell why you're excited. We won, but what happened? Let me help you understand what happened. So going to this game, Ottawa up 6+ points on Columbus and other teams chasing us for that, playoff spot. Ottawa has a very good, positioning right now in that first wildcard spot, because the second wildcard spot is held by 4 different teams. The Columbus Blue Jackets, the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Habs. Do not want to be part of that at all. I want to be the ones on top that they keep on trying to claw away. And while they kill each other for that one spot, we coast our way into a playoff spot. That's what I like to see, right? That's what we need. The Cardiac Sens never make it easy, though. So that's probably wishful thinking. But again, while they make things difficult in the games, in the standings, the 2 points are all that matters. It doesn't matter how we get the wins, right? So we'll save that for the Keef Smoke Meats post-game notes. The Sens in the third period today. Yikes. But again, a win is a win. So as I was already saying, as I already said, 4-point difference in this game. It's a 4-point game. We win 8+ points up. If we lose 4+ points up, 6+ going into this game. So want to win, obviously. Now, the same lineup for tonight for your Ottawa Senators. While Linus Ullmark started for the Sens again, he has a 5-2-2 record against Columbus with a 2.30 goals against average and a 930 save percentage. We faced off against Danny Tarasov, who he's an interesting goaltender. He plays more of a hybrid style, and I always love that. I'm a former goaltender in my own right, and not an NHLer, of course. I can already hear the comments. Obviously, I'm not an NHLer. I'm the one talking about the NHLers, not the one playing on the NHL ice. But what I will say is I wouldn't want him as my goalie purely because it's too much chaos. But watching him is a lot of fun. He's making a lot of acrobatic stops. He's very athletic in his net. But he's only played like one appearance against Ottawa. Did not do so well, below 850 save percentage. So, again, on paper, should be an easy game for Ottawa, but as we all know, it's the playoff chase, so that's not going to happen. And the Cardiac Sens are just not going to let that happen either. Now, before we get into the rest of the game recap, I want to say thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring SENS Talk, as SENS Talk is proudly presented by Dylan Puckniak, Ottawa's exclusive realtor with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment, providing a bilingual real estate service that serves the Ottawa-Gatineau community. Dylan Puckniak is also specialized in supporting professional athletes that come and go in our city, providing service that takes care of people at the highest level. For a realtor experience that puts you and your needs first, visit dylanpuckniak.kw.com. That is dylanpuckniak.kw.com. Look at your screen right here. You'll see the link there to find out more today. Again, thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring Sens Talk. So let's get to the first period of play. And it was a bit of a doozy early on. Just kidding. It was a snooze fest. I'm not going to lie. The first 5-7 minutes, the shots were like 1-1. Not much was going on. And honestly, this game, the final score makes it seem like the game was very close. It's primarily because of that third period, because the first 2 periods of play for Ottawa, they were easily the better team. Columbus was chasing us. And that would start off not exactly as the case, but 8 minutes in, that's when things changed. As Tom Chabot, a great play. I mean, we always say it, and I think this guy gets way too much hate, but Tom Chabot is a hell of a defenseman, especially when it comes to holding that blue line. Oh my goodness. Not many defenders on this team create offense from the blue line, literally along that blue line, like Tom Chabot. He does so here, holds that blue line, drags bodies to create a screen out front of Tarasov, and while doing so, simultaneously slides a pass right over to Ridly Greig, who puts it home. 1-0 Senators. A nice little tap in for the Riddler, and Ottawa strikes first. When they do so, 29-6-0 this year when they score first. So things are looking good for your Ottawa Senators. It's 1-0 Sens. As Shane Pinto gets his first point in the last 6 games with a secondary assist on this goal. But he really started the play. He took a hit to create the play in our own zone to send the Sens up the other way. So Pinto might get the secondary assist technically, but the goal does not happen without Pinner. And it was a big game for Pinner and for a multitude of reasons, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes here. But we'll continue on with the game recap because 30 seconds later, return fire literally by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Off the face-off, they tie it. Bad rebound by Linus Ullmark goes right to Jenner, and bad defense by the Ottawa Senators as well. Chabot and whatnot need to find a way to be able to clear that puck much more efficiently and effectively in that slot area. It continues to kill them. It kills them here. Bad rebound, bad defense, bad goal, tie game, 1-1. But do not worry, 6 minutes later, holy cow. Holy cow. I mean, ever since Dylan Cozens joined the Ottawa Senators, the line of him, Perron, and Batherson, I mean, unreal, right? Like, comment down below if I'm wrong. I think that easily has been one of the best lines in the National Hockey League, no doubt about it. And it continues here with 6 minutes left in the first period of play. Dylan Cozens, Carlson-esque. Kind of Carlson-esque, I'm not going to lie. He does exactly kind of what he did against the Bruins in 2017. Goes for a skate, and my goodness, does he ever take Columbus on a skate here as he throws it on net, and a nice little nifty play out front by the Drake Batherson. Sens lead again. It's 2-1 Ottawa as he kicks the puck to himself and puts it home, and Ottawa leads 2-1. Batherson has points in 4 straight. That includes 2 goals. Cozens has points in 9 of his last 11, and Batherson in his last 10 games has 10 points, 5 goals since, Dylan Cozens arrived. So actually in the last 11 games. And by the way, what a celebration by the Drake Batherson. Leaping into the crowd, baby. Leaping into the crowd like a rabbit. My goodness, his vertical is serious. He has got some serious hops as Ottawa, after 20 minutes of play, lead by a goal. I mean, that was a fantastic goal there for the Ottawa Senators. Second line, technically. Again, I said it in my last video, so I'll say it again here, I guess. But, the top 9 for Ottawa, all 3 could be first lines. And that, again, kudos to Steve Stamkos. All 4 lines for Ottawa Senators. You can trust out there. They can produce. Wow, what a well-balanced team this is. But that second line there, I guess you can call it, with Perron, Batherson, and Cozens, I mean, it's unreal how good they've been. And just not even looking at purely of the offensive side of things, here's some wild stats for you. Dylan Cozens, since arriving to Ottawa before this game, had 37 hits since arriving here in Ottawa in those 11 games, including tonight. He also took 16 hits during that span. Now, what's crazier than that, I mean, Cozens is throwing around the body like a wrecking ball. But what's more crazy than that is his line mate, Drake Batherson, has thrown 30 hits in the same time frame. Actually, 31, including 1 tonight. Sorry. But you know what's crazy about that? Unlike Cozens, who's taken 16 hits during that span, Batherson's only taken 3. I don't know how that happens, frankly. It's probably because while Cozens throws somebody into the boards and they go after him, Batherson and Perron are skating the other way. I don't know. But my goodness, that line there has so many interesting stats, and that's just one of them. Since putting that line together, by the way, I mean, between the offense and the physical attributes, I mean, this line is so elite. They've thrown around 89 hits in the last 11 games with one another. Perron as well had 4 hits tonight. They also, going into this game, combined for 25 points in that time span as well. So, I mean, you're not stopping that second line. You're not stopping the Perron-Batherson-Cozens line if you're, playing against the Ottawa Senators. And all I have to say is, if you're a Sens fan, comment down below right now in the comment section. Let me know what you think the nickname for that line should be, because at this point, they need a nickname. They desperately need a nickname because that line is not getting broken up anytime soon. And I think, frankly, we're seeing something beautiful beginning here in Ottawa with that line. That's a line there that I don't see why it should slow down. I mean, it's been instant chemistry between the three. So speaking of that, let's get to the second period of play. And again, Ottawa in that second period, like that first period, dominating Columbus. We'll talk about that in a second. But 10 minutes in, 3-1 Senators as the Riddler. A beautiful play as he chips it off the wall. Pinto blasts by a Columbus defender. He throws it to Sanderson at the doorstep on the lower post. And the Sens strike to make it a 2-goal lead for them as Ottawa leads 3-1. Ridly Greig and Shane Pinto with their second points of the night. Jake Sanderson with another big goal again as well. He has got 18 points in his last 20 games or so. He's been unstoppable. And Pinto as well with 2 points in this game. It's a very special moment because it was career game number 200 for Shane Pinto. But with this point here, with the primary assist, Pinto also has career point number 100 of his NHL career. So congratulations to the pinner, Shane Pinto, on an incredible milestone. But after that, not much happening, to be honest with you. Allmark makes a couple stops. Ottawa does push. Tarasov makes some good stops. Not going to lie. Again, with goalies like that, the numbers, again, they sometimes get lit up because of the way they play, but also because of the way they play, they make some unreal saves. And we saw that time and time again tonight, not going to lie. But the Jackets were not doing Tarasov any favors. After 40 minutes of play, they were being outshot heavily. And in that second period alone, only had 4 shots. Just 4 shots. So, for a team like Columbus, who is in the second wildcard position going into this game, they want to hold on to that. They've found their way back into the playoff mix here after a bit of a down stretch as of late. They need a big third period. And my goodness, would they ever get that big third period? As we go to the third period play, and Ottawa, they do very well when they score first. They do very well often when they lead going into the third period. But as of late, the cardiac Sens, as I love to call them, or probably shouldn't say love to call them, but as I call them, have struggled in the third period as of late. No doubt about it. They have been outscored 10-3 in their last 5 games in the third period. Now, again, they find ways to hold on. So that's all that matters. But again, for my own health, and I'm sure for many of you as well, can we just calm it down and just get an easy win for once? Columbus early on would be pressing. Allmark would be making some big stops. But with about 8 minutes left in the third period of play, Marchenko, who was very cold, I know that because he was on my fantasy team until I dropped him. Now he's scoring again. Scores here with a beautiful toe drag goal on a frankly bad defensive play here by Zub and Greig. Kind of lets him just walk in, no pressure. Just kind of backing in. Again, nice effort there from Marchenko. Nice little burst of speed, no doubt about it, and a better release. The toe drag is beautiful. But for Ottawa, got to do better than that, not going to lie with you. Luckily, though, for Ottawa, they have a guy named Linus Allmark. And Linus Allmark likes to stop pucks. It's kind of his hobby. It's kind of his job, to be honest with you, if you haven't heard. He likes to stop pucks, and he does that quite a bit there in the third period of play. Oh, my goodness, did he ever make some big stops there. He comes clutch in the third period of play. Ottawa, with about 3 minutes left, would have an empty net. I think Travis Green needs to take this team and spend an entire practice on hitting empty nets. That's it. That's it. Because they can't. If their lives depended on it, unless it's Ridly Greig with a breakaway and a slap shot opportunity, they can't score empty net goals. I don't know what it is. They can't score again tonight. They can't hit the empty net. Luckily, though, it does not matter. We have Linus Allmark. He stops all the pucks as your Sens win 3-2 over the Columbus Blue Jackets as Ottawa wins back-to-back and, most of all, move to 8+ points ahead of any team looking to oust us from a playoff spot. My goodness, it's not there yet. Until that X is there, I'm not going to say it. But I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm sure you are too. Do you feel it, Ottawa? because I certainly do. Now, the shots ended up finishing in favor of Columbus 31-27. Ottawa, just for some context, were leading by a few shots, but it felt like they were controlling more of the game, to be honest with you. I mean, again, face-off rate for the Sens above 60% tonight. So while, again, the shots were a little even, and then in that third period, Columbus took advantage, ultimately, at the end of the day, the 2 points are all that matters. So anyways, let's get to the Keef Smoked Meats post-game notes. And speaking of Keef Smoked Meats, Sens Talk is brought to you by Keef Smoked Meats, the best smoked meat in the Ottawa area. During a process that takes over 150 hours while using the highest grade beef, Keef Smoked Meats smokes their meat on top of a mix of Southern American charcoal and Keef's signature flavored wood chips, leaving you with a savory Montreal-inspired smoked meat. The best part? Getting it is so easy. Just go to keefsmokedmeats.com, find the smoked meat package you're looking for, click order, and boom, within days, it'll be dropped off right to your doorstep. So go to keefsmokedmeats.com. That is keefsmokedmeats.com. Look at your screen right here. You'll see the link there for the best tasting smoked meat experience in the Ottawa area. Again, that is keefsmokedmeats.com. Now let's get to the Keef Smoked Meats post-game notes. So as I just said, Ottawa 8+ points ahead of Columbus and others for that playoff spot. It's looking rather good. Again, it's not over till it's over, but I mean, at a certain point here, you got to start to acknowledge the fact that we're certainly ahead of the other teams. And again, anything could happen. It's certainly not over, and teams can certainly still claw their way back. But it's just, again, very good that they're all battling with one another, and we're just kind of there at the top. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And again, the Sens deserve it because they've earned it with such fantastic play this year. Speaking of fantastic play, Linus Ullmark, a big reason for that. 29 for 31 tonight for a .935 save percentage. She was fantastic yet again, especially there in the third period of play. Ottawa got peppered with shots again, faced 15 there in the third period of play, only allowed one of them through. He had a fantastic night. And again, for any team that has playoff aspirations and more so cup championship aspirations, you need a star goaltender that can bail you out when you're not playing your best and can lead the way. Most of all, Linus Ullmark is that guy. And if we do end up making the playoffs, he's going to be so integral to this team's success. You see teams like Toronto who, like or hate them, the big reason they struggled is because of their goaltending inconsistencies. So Ottawa, for the first time in maybe a decade, doesn't have that problem, and my goodness, that is such a good feeling to have. Now, the last thing I want to mention is Ridly Greig. In his last 10 games has been fantastic. Another 2-point night for him today. But in his last 10, 7 points, including 2 goals, 14 shots, 18 scoring chances, 16 hits, 7 blocks, and a 59% face-off rate, and a 61% overall in March. So a great night and a great last little stretch here for Ridly Greig. Not shocking he's doing so well with Brady Tkachuk on his wing as well, but again, regardless of that, even before Tkachuk joined him, he was playing very well. So great to see that. He's such an underrated player. He's also a pest, which you love to see. He's like J.G. Pageau, basically, and I know that's kind of obvious because, we traded Pageau for the pick that ended up being Ridly Greig, but I think that's the perfect example for what Ridly Greig is, because he's a third-line guy, heart-and-soul guy, pest, who can score. He can do it all. He's a hell of a play generator, but also can play solid defensively, win you face-offs, can lay out the body as well. I mean, what a valuable player there for the Ottawa Senators in their middle six. So another great game for him, and he definitely deserves some praise. Now, with that, I'll see you back here tomorrow for an early one. Quick turnaround for Ottawa as they face off against the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So I'll be back here for that. So with that, I'll see you all then. But again, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How we feeling, Sens Army? I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm sure you are too. Now with that, I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.